Welcome to 2 on the 10.
Let's do this. Oh, episode 6.
Number 6.
Yes, how you doing? I'm Paul.
I'm Mitch.
Greedy Nick, 2 on the 10 podcast.
Greedy.
Yes. Good to be back. Good to be back another week. Man, how you guys been?
I've been good. Got a little hurt this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but it's all good.
Okay, sometimes you got to do that,
Sometimes the champ takes a punch or two, but as long as you make it through,
What are you, 52 and
the
1?
round.
Something like that.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Split decision?
Yeah, it's tougher to bob and weave these days.
Sounds good. Man, let's get right into it, man. First story, water situation we got out here. We've had a lot of water here in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's rained, I've been out here full time since 2005, and I've never seen it rain this much.
Mm-hmm.
And I know before we were in a big time drought, and the amount of water we got, I mean, I don't know who's pulling this out, but, there was a big story that came out this week about basically we're giving water to the Saudis. Yep. So they, out in Vicksburg, so they can grow their alfalfa out there and send it back to the Middle East. So they were trying to say this was contributing to, our drought, basically taking water rights away from Arizona where we can be using it. And, they're sending it, for their crops that, they're only paying, pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, wasn't it $25 an acre or something?
Yeah, $25 an acre. It's, they got, 10,000 acres out in Vicksburg. And, does this contribute? I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I'll say this. And that deal's been going on since 2014, 2015 or something like that?
Yeah, 2014's been going on. Nobody said anything till now, so I'm like, why are you making a big deal about it? But
one, I think it's funny. I mean, if the rumors are true, Arizona's water situation, they're trying to say we're going to be eventually, using recycled toilet water. Basically, is what I'm understanding.
I mean, they even turned off the water at the up in northern Scottsdale area. One little town out there, they basically cut them off from the water.
Really?
No, it was I can't even remember. It's right off the Beeline Highway there, up towards the casino. There's a little town up there, and they're basically cut off from city water because of the shortages. So I know it's been a big deal, and I know even up in like northern Arizona, some areas they're limiting how many houses they're allowed to build because they're not issuing any new water.
You have to have a 100-year guarantee, basically, too, to do new builds.
Wow, that's incredible. Do you think we're gonna run out of water here in Arizona?
I don't know. I think I know this much. Being a little bit in that industry as far as the housing industry. I know we've all. You've touched houses too with stuff. Right. But I'll say this: we were monitoring. My understanding is we're monitoring what Portland did in the '90s because they came through a similar situation where they couldn't guarantee 100 years of water. But I mean, the difference is Portland's right by the Pacific Ocean,
right?
Whereas we do have the Hoover Dam and everything else like that, and we are close to Mexico, so there are options. They're also talking about getting water through Utah, and obviously, we have been using the Colorado River, saltwater projects, all those things, So it's going to be interesting, to see where that goes. Like you said, though, we've got a lot of rain this year. I mean, I've been here since '97 from the Bay, came out here. And honestly, I don't remember 1 year. Maybe there was 1 year back in the day. But the thing about rain in Arizona, it usually lasts for like 30 minutes,
Right. Yeah, I mean, it pours. I mean, you think it's, Noah's Ark is coming down the road. Yeah. I mean, the way it dumps is the sky's open and it just dumps water, but it only lasts for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes. I mean, when it's bad, 2-3 hours cause flooding.
Right, exactly. I mean, when I first moved here, I was looking for the sewers because to this day, I rarely see sewers out here. I mean, I'm originally from back east. Yeah. There were sewers everywhere. So I never understood that. Like, why was there no like sewer system, around this place? It just seems like they just let, everything flood around here, and I'm like, oh, wait, it's hot, it'll dry up quick. So
and then this year all of a sudden, and the other thing too I noticed since I've been here, it's almost like 24, 25 years, now, is that it only rains about, you can count on your hands how many times it rains in the year. You know what I mean? And it seemed like this last winter, it did, it was raining all day, like many days,
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't start getting hot until recently. So
Shout out to Harp.
No, I do think that the water situation, I think, is affecting, the growth of Arizona a little bit. I mean, we're still booming, but my boy Randy, who went away, he used to grow up here. He went away to the Navy, and he's been traveling many, many years, getting ready to retire after a long and illustrious naval career. Was always talked to all of us about moving back to Arizona, once his career is over, and now he's second guessing that, and it sounds like he's not going to come back to Arizona because he's not sure where water is going to be in 5 or 10 years, and he doesn't want to get into a situation where he buys a house and values go decrease because the amount of water available for people is just not able to meet the demand. So,
right. Well, the one thing I know about us is we're very resourceful, especially out here in Arizona. They'll figure out, even if it causes an arm and a leg, they'll figure out, the water situation. I believe.
Well, here's the thing too. I mean, just jumping subjects for a second. I mean, still on the, on the topic of, values and homes and stuff. It's funny because Goldman Sachs had that article, in January that shook people up. I know people were sending it to me and I'm in that industry. It's like, the Arizona market's going to crash. In the next 6 months, it's going to crash. And we have information through Crop Report and different things like that, and our own agents and stuff. That's not the case whatsoever. What these dudes talking about, the media, people on YouTube, people would jump in and try and say all that stuff. But the reality is Arizona real estate is actually up 5%, since January.
Wow, we're seeing an uptick.
We're seeing an uptick, and we're seeing numbers go down. We had 15,000 homes available in the whole state, single family homes in January. That number as of today is 10,800 single family homes.
Wow. And
new builds aren't building right now for a couple of reasons. Maybe to guarantee the water certificate, but they're also trying to hold the playback to get the most money, when they can. Because they'll be able to, when they do decide to crank it back up, they'll be able to get, they'll be able to build those homes in 6 months.
Sure. I mean, we're the fifth largest city in the United States for a reason,
250 people coming here every day right now.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
A lot of them from California.
Going from Arizona to Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know we got off the water subject because we're talking about property values. But what's crazy is speaking of Maricopa County, and I don't want to keep this local because I feel like we're more global than local in what we talk about out here. But hey, sometimes it happens in Arizona, and that's going to be our reference. But as far as Maricopa County, which is the county for Phoenix, for people that don't know, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe, pretty much 90% of the state of what everything happens, Maricopa. It's my understanding that they were getting charged, people in that county for the water were getting charged $242 an acre.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
$242. So if you do the math on what the Saudis were getting charged for that deal, basically they would be owing $5.42 million per year for the past 7 years.
That sounds like a great business deal right there.
Yeah, well, it sounds like somebody didn't math the math right. The math, what they say, the youngsters say now, the math ain't mathin'.
Definitely ain't, that one definitely ain't math and stuff like that. But hey, talking about big cities, I don't know if you guys saw what's going on out in Chicago with this. It's like these flash mobs.
the teen takeover.
The teen takeover. It was like
talking about what the kids are saying these days.
They DM each other. They put a meeting point out, and they think a few hundred kids are going to show up with thousands of kids that show up in Chicago. They're vandalizing, cars, businesses, and stuff like that. I mean, they're out there wilding right now in Chicago. So
that's I heard about that. That's crazy. Chicago is its own animal in many different ways, but to get. I mean, it's one thing, you already got the street situations out there that are crazy as hell, with the gang violence and all that stuff and, the crimes and just the lack of respect for, authority and even just other people. And now you got even regular kids, and I don't mean to say regular kids, but I'm just saying more, this is more like a thing to do type thing, and so now you got these people running around, creating havoc and whatever else. People are getting hurt. Cars are getting vandalized, tipped over, and some people get shot.
Two teens got shot during this whole thing. They're not sure who shot them or what the background is on that, but yeah, I mean it's Chicago's crazy. I mean, it used to be that the violence was kind of located in just like Southside Chicago. That was like the area you wanted to stay out of, but it's slowly been trickling into, you know, downtown and other parts of Chicago where, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, don't want to go to Chicago right now. They don't feel safe there, and they don't feel safe walking around at night in Chicago.
Which is like disheartening because Chicago's one of my favorite cities, you know, especially River North. Man, I've gone to Chicago so many times just for the taste of Chicago, going back. My daughter used to model. She was back there for, 3 months modeling. I used to go back and see her like every other month going back.
She used to be in that high, like I saw the apartment pictures, the high rise looking over the city.
Yeah. Oh, I spoiled my kids back in the day. It was, just my thing. It is what I do. But, going back, my favorite pizza is from Chicago. Giordano's.
Do you remember when you had the pizza first, though?
Oh, okay. Remind me.
Okay.
Remind me.
So one time, Paul, when me and Ken, and we're going to get Ken on the show because we got a couple big cards. If we were to tell you that we sold a card that's probably worth $5 million back then, we'll have to, this is a plug for another story. We'll have to get him on the show and talk about it. But we used to go to all the major card shows in the country, and Chicago was one of the biggest ones by far. In fact, it used to be until COVID came in, and then Dallas became because it was more open up, where Chicago was shutting everything down. Mm-hmm. So Dallas is still right now, the number one card show spot right now.
And that was out in Schaumburg, right?
So no. Okay, so when talking the Chicago card show, that was always at Rosemont Convention Center, the Donald E. Stevens, which is like the huge convention center, right by two airports. You got O'Hare, and then you got I can't remember Midway. Thank you. But yeah, and so once you fly in, man, Chicago was just amazing. I remember coming from AC. I remember me and Ken flew in one of the first times for one of the first shows. It was in November, and they had it was like 15 degrees, 20 degrees with like a super wind chill factor. And we're getting off the plane, and we're coming in shorts and a t-shirt, and we got to wait for the cab. We're sitting there like people looking at us like we're we got special needs and stuff. Like it's like, and we did. We need to get in a warm car.
Looking like
yeah. And real quickly too on that one. This is kind of funny. I want to save some of these for when he gets on the show. Right. But we got in the cab, and all of a sudden this other cab's like racing the guy, pulling aside, screaming at him, and then just all of a sudden cuts him off.
Oh wow!
Hey, you guys come with me. And I'm thinking we're getting hijacked. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I felt like Denzel at the end of Training Day. Like what the hell's going on? The car gets cut off. We jump in the other cab. Because I guess that guy took his fare. But so back to and if you guys don't know, my ADD, just follow with me. You guys, he's talking too fast. No, you're listening too slow.
Yeah.
But no. So
remember, special needs.
Yep. Wow. I'm offended. But no, so we did the card show, and I think you came along to that one, and we went to. I remember the first night we get into town, we're like, oh, there's this card party. It's an invite only. Only the big dogs get to go. Shout out Black John. That's all I'll say. Shout out Black John. It was at a secret hotel location, penthouse suite.
Right. That was wild. I know exactly what you're talking about. That was a wild night.
A lot of dollars were flying around. And they had Giordano's catered, which is amazing.
Yes, I did. I fell in love with it that night.
Yep. So Giordano's. And then I remember that night we actually went to Schaumburg.
Right.
We went to this club called the Alumni back in the day. So people from Chicago, they know that. That's about an hour cab ride. And do you want to tell that story real quick or no? No.
Tell the story about you passing out in the cab? Yeah. Oh, man, this guy is notorious for doing this. We'll go to one spot, we'll party so hard, drink on them back. He'll get in the cab and go to sleep. and then the cabbie's, turn around, looking. He's like, is your friend okay? Oh, yeah, he's fine. He'll be fine. Soon as we, pull up to the next spot, it's like he raises from the dead. Oh, I'm up. Oh, it's time to go. I was like, he is notorious for going to sleep, and then as soon as we're at the next spot, boom. You do it all the time. You've done it lawfully.
Oh yeah, when the night was over, as soon as we get back to the cab, because Paul was tripping. He's like, he expressed to me afterwards, like, bro, I was tripping because I know you do that. And I know you're good for that, but man, this is my night in Chicago. I'm going an hour away. We're paying like $100 to get this cab, dude. Whatever. And you're going to be passed out when we pull up to the club, I'm like, damn, is it going to be good? And so we're here, up, let's go.
Yep.
And then we got the whole night.
It was like a shot of Red Bull.
And we hit the club the whole night. As soon as we get back in the cab from the night over, go back an hour, I'm out. As soon as we get to the hotel, hey, we're here, Mitch. All right, I'm up.
He does the same thing in restaurants too. Pass out as soon as the food comes. Boy, that boy's awake.
And that was the Red Bull and vodka days.
Good old days.
I mean, Chicago. Like I said, I go to Taste Chicago, or the architectural tour is amazing. But the food in Chicago to me is like second to none. It's just off. It's New York. Nick, I know you're from New York. Your family's from New York, and Chicago. But it's two different styles of food.
Who you got? Knicks or Bulls? I'm saying, who you got? Chicago or New York food?
I don't know. I'm a more of a Chicago guy. I love the deep dish where New York is kind of like a thin crust. Chicago for me is more blue collar, where New York is more hustler. So I don't know. I think I relate more to Chicago than I do New York. But like I said, the food. If you've never been to the Taste of Chicago, put that on your bucket list.
It's the only place I can truly say. It's the only place I walked in and got a beer and a cheesecake on a stick, and then went and had some alligator pizza.
I don't know. What's your favorite restaurant in Chicago?
Well, of course, I'm with you I'm Team Giordano's when it comes to Chicago. But now look, we got to clarify, only in Chicago. I'm not even talking Vegas, and definitely not the Arizona one.
Right.
Giordano's Chicago, Giordano's deep dish. As far as other spots, I actually like, and again, I'm not a Morton's fan, but I do like the original Morton's over there.
Okay.
We got plenty of stories over there. That one in Rosemont, they've always showed us love. The food's been really good there. We got, over this course, I'll share a couple stories on that one too. But so and then of course, I love the fact, Chicago, New York, I'm split. I got love for both. I just appreciate both, truthfully. So I'm not even gonna say which one. I enjoy whichever one where I'm at. But the fact that you got, for example, Chicago, you got a good Greek food culture. Yeah. And it's real Greek food, Right. My boy Nick would be like, Nick from back home, he'd be like, oh no, that's not Greek food, that's Mediterranean. He gets all mad, But no, they got the good, Greek food. They got obviously the Chicago Italian, and then and then the crazy thing for traditionalists, some people will tell you that the thin crust Chicago is actually the real Chicago pizza.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure. The thin crust Chicago pizza is a place called Paisano's. They do a round pizza, but then they cut it into squares. And before COVID, they used to be open late. So I went to Chicago a couple times before COVID for some training with work, and a couple times I was lucky enough once to drive into downtown and catch a Cubs game, and once to catch a Monday Night Football game with the Bears. And both experiences were amazing. But the Bears game I went to, my buddy George happened to be in town going to the game too. He's from Chicago.
Boy, George?
Yes. Shout out to George. And
what's up, George?
He
Now, did you go to old Soldier Field, or did you go to the new one?
The new Soldier Field. So this is late 2010s. But
I was fortunate
before COVID.
I was fortunate to play in the old Chicago, the old Soldier Field.
Yeah.
And before they had built on the far end, and that place is amazing.
Yeah, it's the same as Wrigley is probably one of my top three baseball stadiums of all time.
Yeah.
That and Boston and old Yankee Stadium. New one, I could do without. But
what about Chase Field?
Chase Field.
Well, they do got the pool though.
Hey, listen,
the mausoleum.
Hey, y'all can talk shit all you want. And listen, D-backs are in first place right now.
Corbin Carroll's balling, by the way.
And we were at Game 7 of 2001.
Yes. Game 7. I was there with. That's right. I was there with me, Mitch, and Ken. We were there. We're in Soriano, and the bottom of the eighth. Okay. Smacked the home run into our section. I told the whole section to turn their hats upside down. We did the rally caps. We came back to win that game. Arguably one of the greatest World Series.
And if Paul didn't do that, that would not have happened.
That would have not happened. If I hadn't been in there, we would have lost that series. So
that's another thing. We got to tell that story.
So D-back, send me some season tickets. You still owe me for that. That was definitely all me, man.
So Paul's taking credit for game 7 of the World Series. That's good to know.
So I'm gonna get back to my story real quick.
No.
So Chicago, we get done with the Bears game. It's probably 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
That's a great story.
And my buddy George is like, "Hey, we're gonna go to this pizza place, Paisano's." I'm like, "It's 11 o'clock at night." He's like, "Oh, they're open. They were open late." It was like Monday night. We pop in there. It's packed. It's like an hour wait. We finally get a table. We sit in the back. We order a pizza. Takes them like another hour and a half to get our pizza out. And we're like, screw this. We want to get back. Like I had to be up for training in the morning. He was getting back because he was flying out the next morning. So we ate a couple of the little squares and it was the best. And I don't know if I was just tired and drunk and everything else.
Now, Paisanos is really good.
But I ended up getting like 2. They gave us a free pizza on top of the one we had. So I took the pizza home with me. I put it in my fridge in my hotel room and ate that for like 3 days straight. I was eating it in the cab on the way back. I had like a 45-minute drive back to my hotel from downtown Chicago. And I was eating that pizza in the cab. The cabbie's like, damn, that smells good. But yeah, that Paisanos, man, they the thin crust with the round pizza, but they cut it into squares. Oh, so good.
No, I'll tell you. Go ahead.
So I just want to mention, since family from New York, so better than New York pizza?
No, I'm sorry. New York, thin crust, even some New York Sicilian pizza, nothing beats it.
Okay. What were you going to say, Mitch?
Well, I was just going to say, no, I've had Paisanos when I was in the mortgage game for a second. The owner of the bank division, he knew I was a foodie. So he's like, hey, Mitch, where have you been to here? He was like, I got something for you. And he ordered, like, it was pretty dope. I got a shout out Varun and Reddy. We were out there, and what's it called? They totally cared. He, would always check with me on the food stuff, like, hey, and he'd order for the whole floor. And, the people in Chicago were like, man, you Arizona dudes need to come here more often, bro. Like, because we don't get taken care of like this. I mean, they take care of them, but he was like, make sure, he wanted to make sure. So we got Paisanos, and that was money.
The one thing we haven't talked about in Chicago, when you talk Chicago, I think Chicago dogs and Italian beef.
Italian beef, of course. Italian beef, of course.
Okay. Now, so, we didn't bring up, have you guys tried, Jordan's restaurant out there? Michael Jordan's Steakhouse out there?
I'm good. I tried his cologne, and
you just after that? Yeah,
I'm done.
I heard it's good.
So are you not big fans of celebrity restaurants? Because we got a lot out here in Arizona.
You know what? I mean, the gimmick of it, they're attached to it will make me want to check it out. And the funny thing is now you got chefs that are considered celebrities too.
Yeah, that's true. Out here, we got Shaq just opened up a new chicken spot. Neo just opened up chicken and waffles. Nobu's owned by
Robert De Niro. One of the owners.
Yeah. You got Shula's out here too. But Dick is out here.
Walk-ons. Drew Brees is one of the owners over there.
Exactly. Yeah. So we got a lot of celebrity restaurants.
Even Tiger Woods. What's it called? He's got a golf, like a little golf putt and a little restaurant too.
It's actually pretty dope too.
Yeah,
had some friends go out there. They said it's dope.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Isn't it like a 18-hole like putt?
Yeah. And they got sand traps, all kinds of stuff. It's cool.
So this ain't no normal putt.
This ain't no normal. This is putt on steroids.
I gotta definitely go out and check out my golf game. I'm trumped that. If you need, ask Big Frank. I'm taking some money off of him. I know, Frank, you listen to this. Next time we play, another.
Frank the Tank.
I will say this about Paul's golf game. He can hit the ball a mile. You just don't know a mile in which direction.
True that. Hey, but when I'm on, baby.
Yeah.
You definitely know that for sure.
But speaking of celebrity-owned restaurants, there's so many of them. And it's funny because when I think of like sports athletes, I don't think of food necessarily, but because they're such with the age of Instagram and TikTok and all these things, and you see these pictures and these videos of people making food. Paul, you talked about like Salt Bay's restaurant and sprinkling the salt over your food. It comes out to your table and it's It's a big show. It's crazy. Like you said, like these celebrity chefs are now just becoming popular. You got Guy Fieri and you got Wolfgang Puck and even Salt Bay and these people. They're becoming like
Bobby Flay.
Yeah, Bobby Flay. They're becoming as big as celebrities as like actors and sports athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're in the day and age of, we're in the social media age where it went from celebrities, Hollywood or whatever else to eventually what the MTV era of like the Real World type stuff. What was it called? What kind of television? I can't.
Are you talking about
reality TV?
Reality
yeah, reality TV. Yeah. So reality TV, which was never really real, and then it went from that to now we're talking, influencers basically, just people that are on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, and I mean, I think Vine, credit to Vine, I think Vine actually really got that going, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, Vine was the first.
It was popping.
Yeah,
and in fact, wasn't that where the Logan, the brothers?
I mean, Logan Paul. That's where they came from.
Yeah.
You know, they came from Vine and TikTok
and Disney threw away at Disney, but
and then TikTok just took over.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, that is when we talked about on the other show. I mean, that is a juggernaut.
Oh yeah, that's the monster.
And you know, I've been getting into TikTok, you know, more and more. I really do hope the platform, you know, survives.
That's gonna survive.
Yeah. You think so?
Oh, put it this way. Worst thing that would happen to TikTok, someone negotiates how to own it. You know, because it's too good of a moneymaker.
Too powerful.
Let's put it this way. In this world with this, you know, with that kind of power, they're just trying to control it. I mean, I can safely say that. I mean, they want to make sure they control the monster. They want to own it, you know?
You got you. So you're trying to say the government's going to control TikTok?
I mean, whether it's the government, truthfully.
Or their cronies.
Yeah, or, you know, or some, you know, so powers that be that are, you know, obviously very wickedly smart, you know?
Yep.
You know?
Shout out to Bill Gates.
Well, he's just a puppet on the whole chain, if you ask me.
Hey, but back to the celebrity restaurants. Is there any celebrity restaurants that you guys actually like?
No. I'm just playing.
No. Yeah. Listen, I've been to Nobu. You know, I was
I'm not a fan.
Here's the thing. I always go to a restaurant twice because I said, okay, maybe they have an off night.
So you're gonna go back to Chris Bianco?
Okay, no.
Wow.
If he calls, Chris, we're still waiting for that call. Paul's waiting. He wants to come back out, try it. I know.
I like your pizza.
You know what?
Hey, you're nothing until Paul gives you the thumbs up. I'm just gonna say that.
Yes.
Doesn't matter how many shows they make about you. If Paul don't like you, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, you got a problem. But no, I'm, you know, like take for Nobu, for example. You know, you go there, they charge you all this money for these small ass portions. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I'm still hungry by the time I get out of there. Shit, I you know, I $500 to $1,000, and I don't want to leave hungry.
But the food is delicious. I will say that.
I'll tell you what, you get like a $60 plate of whitetail slivers or whatever it is. And
they melt in your mouth because they're like paper thin.
They look like eight.
Listen,
fingernail thumb.
I've had way better.
Fingernails.
I've had way better sushi at Tamari.
That is true.
Shout out Saki.
Yeah,
Shout out Saki.
If you got us to know, and people are gonna say I'm crazy, but the best sushi on the West Coast is here in Arizona.
I agree.
They fly their stuff in. So when you say, "Oh, it's not fresh," I will put up Tamari against any restaurant that you out there. I'm telling you, go have just have one roll.
The primo roll, right?
Go have the primo roll.
The primo roll, right?
Go have the primo roll, and then come talk.
We're on the same page. We're on the same page, though.
Tell me that isn't the best roll you've ever tasted. And if you tell me, I'm gonna smack you.
And then double down and get the cowboy roll. I like the cowboy.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I'm telling you, if you have not been there, it's in Gilbert of all places. You know, it's just real weird. It's on Val Vista and in between Guad.
No, it's on Val Vista and Guad.
Yeah. And if you never tried it, you need to go there. They close during the day between 2 and 5. That's the only thing. 2:30 and 5. That's the only thing I don't like about it. I wish they were open, you know, full day because I get hungry in the middle of the day and I want to go eat. But when I tell you, that is the best sushi restaurant.
And I'll just say this. I went to, in New York, one of the Michelin restaurants is Masa. And it takes 3 months of reservations and knowing people to get in, no cameras and stuff. It's, and I went there, and I'm not trying to be the, dollar guy, but I'm just trying to paint the picture.
Right.
Yeah, my plate was $1,500.
Okay.
Right? And you get 24 small servings.
Okay. You get to keep the plate?
No.
Right. Shit, the whole table. I'm packing that shit up, taking it home with me.
And no leftovers on that, huh?
And don't get me wrong, man. They bring out 24 servings. And then they came over, we got some special Japanese Wagyu, not the Snake River Farm shit. That everybody else be passing around is, that's like the, what's it called? Fentanyl of Wagyu.
It was the Wagyu flown in by Mr. Miyagi himself.
Oh yeah, when he's chopping the bonsai tree, he has some Wagyu on the side. But no, so Masa in New York, 24 different servings, and you clean your palate after each one. So they got the lemon, and they got the ginger, and then the hot towel on every single one.
They got the flavored foam too.
They got some, and don't get me wrong, it was very interesting. It was also humbling because I had to eat. I'm not a caviar dude. I don't care. I don't.
How'd you like caviar? He was like,
No, I'm good.
You good on that?
Yeah, I'm good on that. And the only reason I did, and they put on a little toast cracker or whatever it was, and it's like, I'm cool, bro. But like they like frown upon you passing it back. Just take it back. So I'm all right, I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna eat a couple things that taste like a juniper bush, whatever. I'm gonna eat the eel and the squid and whatever else, and I'm like, man, I'd really rather just go to the corner street and get a euro. To be honest with you. I'm just being 1,000%, but hey, I did it.
You're a simple man.
Hey, simplicity sometimes,
You gotta get that refined palate.
Oh, I got a refined panel when it comes to steaks. When it comes to steaks and pizza and even seafood. But
no, I gotta give it to you. Here's a no. I know you're a foodie, and so that's why I have to bust your balls.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, one thing real quick though, but that whole story, if you haven't seen it, the movie The Menu, it's pretty crazy. It's about like this chef that does these like crazy inspired meals, and then it just goes terribly bad, and he's like basically out to like do his final meal, and he blames it on like all the different people and the critics and all this stuff. And it's a crazy, insane movie, but it reminds me of that because it's like he has this special tasting. It's all this money to get in, and he only accept certain people. And definitely, if you haven't seen that movie, check it out. And
I would definitely check it. I've seen it a couple.
Nuts.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times, and I was like, okay, but now you
definitely nuts.
And then also, speaking of food movies, you also got to watch the movie Waiting. If you haven't seen the movie Waiting, have you seen it?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So just so you know, if you act up at a restaurant, just know that's what happens. The movie Waiting.
So if you've ever eaten at Chevy's back in there,
oh wow,
were you
might
wearing
add a little something extra in your food.
were you a waiter back 1908?
Oh wow,
Chevy's on the river.
That's when they're getting their meat brought in on a horse and carriage.
You all said before the gold rush.
Yeah. Father time over here. Nah. So if Mitch was ever your waiter back in the day, you know what time it was. Hopefully you tipped him well.
I wait for no man or women.
No. But hey, speaking of celebrities, man, did you see what just went on with Jalen Rose, man? His contract was
Jalen Hurts.
I mean, that Jalen Rose.
Jalen Rose. I was like, whoa, I didn't hear about that one.
Hey, shout out to Jalen Rose. I mean, he's doing his thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
still on the tip of Paul's tongue, apparently.
Yeah, my bad. No, I was checking him out earlier on TNT.
Hey, there's Hurts, and then there's not exactly.
But no, Jalen Hurts' contract.
Whoa!
I mean,
hey, can we clap that up? I mean, or bomb it or something. Do something.
What? $225 million with $179 guaranteed.
All right, let me ask you this real quick. When he heard about it, was Lamar Jackson happy or pissed?
Oh man,
we can get into that.
Yes. For me, if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm sitting back. First of all,
I'm saying, pay me my money, bitch. For real.
I mean, here's my question. I mean, first of all, let's start by: is Lamar Jackson on the same level as
Yes.
Jalen Hurts?
He's above.
Yes, without
MVP.
a doubt. Let's put it this way. And don't get me wrong, this is taking nothing away from Jalen Hurts. I mean, he's done everything with every opportunity, and you got to love the story, especially the fact that he got, he basically got benched and had to transfer because Tua took his job, right? In Alabama.
Yep.
He went to Oklahoma.
Okay.
He came in, and it was supposed to be Carson Wentz, and he took the job over. I mean, Wentz might have been hurt or whatever, but got Wentz out of there, and then he just ran with it. And I know this much: fantasy football players appreciate that motherfucker. Oh, yeah. And he took it all the way to the final game. I mean, took him to the championship, no doubt. I mean, but no.
It's crazy to think 2 years ago they were talking, is he even the right quarterback for Philly? And then just look at a difference 2 years makes.
Right, but you've taken one team to the championship, and Jalen Hurts. I mean, Lamar Jackson has.
But he's also been the integral piece. Here's the thing, and I'm not knocking either of these guys. This is actually praise for both of them. Mm-hmm. But if you gave Lamar Jackson Jalen Hurts wide receivers, if you gave him A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and don't get me wrong, Andrews is a beast. He might be everything as Kelsey is. I mean, I hold him in the same regard as Kelsey, to be honest. Yeah, wow. I really do. But if you gave him those two receivers, I like my odds with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, but they don't have that.
Yeah, I mean, if you put another big time quarterback, let's just say like you put someone like a Joe Burrow or a Herbert on Baltimore, what would they be? I mean, they don't have the same athletic ability of Lamar. I just don't see them. And those two are amazing quarterbacks that are both due up some ginormous contracts, but I just don't think they're going to be the same as what Lamar's able to get out of that team.
Well, here's the thing. We're talking pinpoint passing compared to hybrid. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's one of the knocks on Lamar and even Hurts is they're not as accurate as like, as
yeah,
like
but
Joe.
Lamar's got a cannon on him.
No, he has a cannon. Don't get me wrong. Michael Vick had a cannon
Yeah,
too.
Michael Vick did too.
And all I'm saying is,
Shout out to PETA.
yeah, where my dog's at.
Arp, arp.
But for real, that's going to be always the argument, but the game seems to be evolving, and when you get the right coordinators that know how to work with the quarterback they have, it's a great situation. I mean, look at the Niners. Look at the Niners coordinator. How they switched from Lance, to Garoppolo to Purdy.
Yep.
And they made it all work. I mean, that's the skill set you want, as far as coordinators. I mean, and then look at Jalen Hurts coordinator, and even Jackson's coordinator. When he finally took over, they made plays just for him that summer, and he took the NFL by storm.
So does it come down to Lamar's asking for too much? Because I know he wants his contract fully guaranteed, and Jalen didn't have his contract fully guaranteed, and I think it's out there that Burrows is, when his contract comes up, he's not going to act fully guaranteed. So is Lamar asking for too much?
I don't think he's. First of all, let's get this straight too. He bet on himself, right?
Right, correct.
He bet on himself. It's so funny how society works. Like they want to build people up to break them down, right? And they want to sit back and point and just act like they knew the answer the whole time when they didn't. They'll be in the comments one day saying this, and then they'll be in the comments being, and forget that people have history, could pull up, their shit. And it's like that's the world we live in, unfortunately. But I'm never going to fault an athlete that doesn't take the offer to try and better himself. That's balls. That's putting your balls on the fucking table.
Right, correct. I'm not saying that he's not a great quarterback.
No.
What I'm saying is he asking too much?
Well, I think here's one of the big problems. Jalen Hurts, first of all, amazing management team. He is one of the only all-female management teams, Clutch Sports. Wow. Nicole Lynn is his agent, but even his communications and his marketing all managed by females. So he's an all-female management team. Pretty amazing. Lamar Jackson's trying to manage himself with the help of his mother. Mm-hmm. Neither of them have law degrees. Neither of them have any, as far as I know, skill or experience in managing or negotiating a contract.
Neither did Chris Paul. I mean, or whatever LeBron's boy's name.
Which one?
From Clutch. The head of Clutch.
Yeah, but he's also got a lot of people behind him.
No, got you.
And I'm just saying, like, Lamar and his mom, they don't have that experience. And I think the NFL is trying to make an example out of them for two reasons. One, they don't want athletes going out on their own and trying to skirt around having an agent. They don't. And second of all, they do absolutely 100% without question do not want to pay guaranteed.
Want female agents?
No. Do not want guaranteed contracts. So it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter that Lamar could be the best quarterback ever existed. The NFL is not going to bend over and give him what he wants because of those two things.
So you're saying it's precedence. They don't want to set the precedence of giving them fully guaranteed or negotiating without an agent.
Well, let's add this too. I mean, no, I think he deserves his money. I don't know what the holdup is. Oh, and by the way, when you said all-female team, I thought you were talking about Deshaun Watson.
Oh, no. That's just his massage team, all-female.
Oh, wow.
Too soon?
Too soon.
Hey, he got a guaranteed contract, though, so what's that tell you?
Yeah.
You just got to ask for a little bit more from your massage parlor and your team.
Keep it consistent, bitch. That's the motto going into 2023. I think we can all agree on that.
Keep it consistent?
Bitch.
You bitch you. I think that's where he went, didn't he? You bitch you.
Wow. That's a legitimate massage parlor from what I heard. You bitch you. This is sponsored by 2 in 10 podcast, sponsored by You Bitch You.
Wow, no. But it just, I don't know. It just, I mean, the world of sports right now is just, it's it's wild because right now you have not only do you have the off season with football right now, you have hockey going on, you have baseball going on, you have basketball playoffs going on, and it's a fun time right now for sports fans. In the summer it gets kind of dead. You only have baseball on and there's nothing else to watch. But right now it's so much going on in the world of sports. I mean, just take for example Game 1 of the Warriors Kings game. I mean, E40 is getting in an argument with a Kings fan, and then he gets in an argument with the security that he's trying to bring over to calm the heckler down. So,
first of all, shout out to Uncle Earl. This is kind of close to me because Vallejo in the building. I known his brother. I known them, since their movement, a new fad right by Rich Arts, all that stuff. So shout out to Earl.
Who you rooting for? Hold on, before you keep going. Who you rooting for? Cause you got a torn it.
I'm conflicted.
You conflicted in this one. Huh?
I mean, I gotta keep it a thou wow on this one.
Yeah.
I'm actually rooting for the Kings, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And I have so many friends on both sides of it, but I was a Kings fan. I'm always going to root for the Kings regardless, just because. And they're always the underdogs. They're like the little brother in the Bay Area. Well, they're not the Bay, and especially after you kick E40 out, you're not the Bay Area now, but you're Northern California, or whatever. But no. So to see, and and the cheesy line, and I'm sure by the time this comes out, people will hear it. The Kings basically told E40 when to go. But
to the parking lot, sir.
Right. I'm glad you said the Kings because I remember back in the day before the Suns had several rows of front court. There was only one row.
Yeah.
And,
row one. Yep. I mean, literally row one, not ABC for the floor.
Yeah. And we were fortunate to sit behind the Kings bench. And boy, you were cheering on. That's when C. Webb was.
Yep.
Yeah. It was that was dope ass.
It was that was fun. I used to always get I don't even remember the gentleman's name, but when I have the card store, he came in. And he goes, well, me and my business partner have tickets to we own about 15 seats, 16 seats in row 1, 2, and 3. Like, well, I need row ones, whatever. And back then, this had to be like 98, 99. I used to get those tickets twice a year, I think, because they were in the Pacific Division or whatever. Twice a year for $125, row ones.
Right.
And they were behind the Kings bench. And then finally the Suns they realized, hold on, we don't need just one row across the way of court sides. Let's make these court sides and charge $600 to $1,000, And that's what they did. But for 2 years, I was living it up to the point where I had the first Weber jersey because at the time my daughter's mom was in Sacramento. Sent me a Weber jersey from Sac, from the team store, quick.
Right.
Because that was my favorite player, period, once Magic retired. And so I walk in the arena with the only Kings Weber jersey because the internet wasn't popping like that, So I'm walking in and people are like, where did they get, everybody's tripping out where I got that jersey. Even Webb looked back at me, slaps my hand, and then we start talking. He even signed a couple pictures of my daughter wearing a Duncan in a Weber jersey. I still have that. It's one of my just favorite, it's just sentimental. He was like, oh my God, I appreciate you, bro. Like, thank you. And I remember each time I would go, he would come over and say, what's up? We just chop it up real quick. And I like that better than this whole bougie. I spent, this much and we're on the side, trying to show ourselves off now. And I'm not saying that, it wasn't that way, but there was no social media to do it. In fact, we didn't concern ourselves. It's weird, the mindset, because back then we didn't give a damn about a camera.
Right.
We didn't want cameras.
Yeah, exactly. No cameras, That was like, wire shit. You wearing a wire? You got a camera?
No.
No.
What's your favorite song? You were like, we say it was no murder.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Hey, if you can't find the body, hey, just because you can't find the body doesn't mean someone got killed.
I love that.
But speaking of E40 real quick, man, you're talking about somebody that's, celebrity chef, man. Yeah. He's come out with his liquor. He's
Goon with the spoon.
Goon with the spoon. He's got burritos. He's got ice cream. Yep. That man has built an empire, and it's impressive from where he came from. Man, I grew up back in the day, even before I met Mitch. E40 and the Click was my shit from West Coast. Bootlegging CDs and tapes back then. But even before CDs, I had a E40 tape in a major way. And it's crazy to see how far that cat's come from, just selling tapes and stuff out of his trunk to being a probably 100 pushing billionaire status at this point.
He's a tycoon. He's definitely a tycoon. And what's crazy is, our whole city was so proud. Well, it's crazy because now it's like half the city is super proud and half the city hates. And that's sad.
Yeah.
That's sad when somebody does nothing but show you a path to how you can do it. And I'll tell you what's crazy is they used to have the store next to my barbershop. Shout out Rich Arts. And they had a store called New Fad Clothing. And so I'd go in there and, cop some tapes and, get the Slick Series overalls. This is back in the day, I'm dating myself, with the rayon shirts, go to the club. And 40 used to work the counter sometimes, so we'd chop it up, And I used to have the Gumby cut back in the day too, by the way. And so I was kind of like, you might not know me by name. He's always, what's up, Money? How you doing, Money? Like, he used to always call me Money back in the day. And I'm good with his brother, DeLon, and his half-brother, Wacky. So shout out DeLon and Wack and the Click and Sick with it. But just to see the whole movement was amazing. To be part of it, felt like, you were there. Like the whole city was like rooting that on.
I mean, would anybody actually even know Vallejo, California if it wasn't for 40?
I don't think so. I don't think so. And don't be wrong.
He put Vallejo on the map.
I really believe that E40 is the one that put Vallejo on the map. And then other people, also solidified it, like CeCe Sabathia, Baby Bash.
Shout out Bash.
Yep, of course.
And even Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon. And then Into Deep, actually. Shout out JT and TL and stuff. Look, Back to the Hotel still plays to this day and is relevant. And the first lines, they go, V-Town, brother, check it out, I'm trying to throw down. It's crazy. And if people put it in perspective, that city has 116,000 people. That's like it's like less than half the size of Gilbert.
That's crazy.
So to see that kind of talent come out of there, and and stuff. So, but we're getting off, and I'll get sentimental, put a tear in my eye about my back hometown. But first city in California to go bankrupt. but speaking of
applause for that one.
First city in California to go bankrupt. But no. So to the situation with the Kings Warriors game, Wardy's they call him front row 40. He's at the Niners. He's at the Giants. I remember seeing him behind the TV screen of the KC Giants World Series stuff. And then of course he's got a good marketing thing with the Warriors, and I know he's dialed in with all the cats, I know he's cool with Guy Fieri. Justin Kinder's a big barbecue guy out from the Bay. They keep his sauces, by the way. If you get a Kinder's barbecue sauce over at Costco.
Really?
Yeah, he's from the Bay also. What's it called? So they're all dialed in with the Warriors. And so 40's, front row, everybody sees him there, and it's been a good, it's a good niche. I'm sure he probably also can write the tickets off. I'm not trying to, give up game, but so he's always at the Warriors, games and stuff. So now you're going, for people that know the, demographic, the Sacramento game is almost a home game. Even though Sac has crazy fans, they still bring out the cowboys. They go crazy because that's all they got. In fact, wasn't the ticket prices for that game the highest ever?
For our first round series, yeah.
Ever in the NBA. And we're talking, you wouldn't think that if you're thinking it's an hour and a half away, or an hour away, hour and a half, depending on traffic.
How much money in that whole area, though?
The region, yeah.
The region is just...
And how much pride. Don't get me wrong. Okay, we know the Bay Area has pride with the Warriors, right? People are crazy about the Warriors. And then you bring the Kings, who are like I said, the little brother, but they have pride. So shout out to both sides. So when 40 has the situation where he got kicked out of the game, it's crazy. To me, it's crazy because I don't know all the details. I tried to look him up, but it sounded like, he was standing up a lot during the game. I don't know. If you got front row seats and you're also a factor, are you allowed to stand up? I think I've heard the debate on it. Are you allowed to stand up?
Well, you pay all that money, you're allowed to do whatever you want.
That's what you would think, right? That's what you would think in your front row.
Damn man, not, mess with the players and triple players. I've been courtside many times.
Yeah.
You should be able to walk around. Yeah, you should.
Me too.
You should be able to walk around and do whatever you want. Because, you paying a pretty penny for that front row seat.
I'm gonna save that walk around, do whatever you want. Oh well, you know what? Never mind. It's not courtside. Never mind.
Yeah,
I'll use that later.
Exactly. But it just goes into a bigger issues. Like, I don't know if you saw what happened to Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
With Game 1 and here in Phoenix with the Suns. That it was. What Nick? They had a cut.
He was cutting through they basically they redesigned the arena. They made all these new fancy upscale areas, and they got one that's basically off the floor on the floor level, like little suites tucked back. And One of the suites is like a direct cut through for the players to get back to the floor quicker from the locker rooms. So sometimes the players will occasionally cut through. Well, Westbrook was cutting through this suite and apparently saw some fan that was giving it to him during the game, and he stopped to let the fan know how he felt about it, and almost got into blows a little bit. They both got in each other's face. There was one I guess employee that was there that was kind of stepped between them and trying to separate them, but Westbrook was yelling at the guy was yelling back. The guy's son was trying to eat food off of a plate with one hand. I don't know what was going on, but it was pretty crazy. And the NBA says it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but after everything that happened with like Detroit, Malice in the Palace, I mean, you can't have players confronting fans in the stands. You just can't do it.
Well, here, I mean, I'm on the other side of that. Is yes, you pay your money to come and watch and you cheer for your team, but some of these fans cross the line by they bring in their family. Outside things that are going on that has zero to do with basketball, and when you start crossing the line like that, we're athletes are human too, and just because you're paying to come watch it doesn't mean that you got carte blanche to say whatever.
But if the coach, if you play if you were front row, do you do whatever you want?
Yeah, I mean you do whatever you want to do it. No, I get it. You do whatever you want, like to an extent.
Within reason, yeah.
Just like I said, you don't go out there and trip the guy. Spit and do things that cross the line. That to me,
but here's the thing: it's not the athlete's responsibility to go into the crowd and do that. There's security. I've seen many times LeBron's pointed somebody out and they've got kicked out of a game. Like, you don't need to go and confront them yourselves. There's people to do that. Yeah. The game, you're bigger than that. You're getting paid millions of dollars. Yeah, you don't want to be heckled, and you don't want like negative things, and you don't want racist things, and you don't want people talking about your family. But all you got to do, especially if you're big time like a LeBron or Westbrook, one of these big time players, you tell any security guard, whoever said it, they're going to be out of the game. No problem. And you don't need to go in and confront them. You don't need to jump in their face. There was even that, wasn't it the baseball player that just smacked somebody in the crowd there a couple weeks ago? But you just don't need to be doing that.
Right.
I'll tell you, the issue I had with the Westbrook thing was, truthfully, and it was on both sides, because I don't know the full story. We know Westbrook's had issues with other fans and confronting them. But we also know people are, sometimes trash to him too, like extra, because that's Westbrook, whatever. But the problem I had was with the kid, both people, like the dad, or I'm assuming that's his son, right? Mm-hmm. Sitting there, and you're going to start mouthing off with your son sitting there, trying to eat his pizza off the plate, with no hands or whatever he's doing. And then Westbrook, being so either, not caring or being so just zoned into who was talking shit, that he doesn't realize the little kid's there. I think both of them, at a certain point, somebody's got to be a bigger person.
Right.
Again, I know everybody needs to be the tough guy, but we're talking about a game where who really fights on the court? Everybody puffs their chest out and pushes and holds me back, hold me back, hold me back. So, what's this really about? Somebody be the bigger person, especially when there's a kid involved. That's what I got to say.
I can guarantee players aren't going to be cutting through that suite anymore.
Oh, yeah.
The NBA is going to put a stop to that real quick.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. All right, man. Thought of the day.
I'm going to start on the thought of the day today. So we're doing a podcast. I know there's a lot of you out there probably listening to this podcast sitting on the toilet.
I've heard that from a few people too, by the way.
Did you know that the global rate for people washing their hands after using the toilet is only 19%?
And that's why we have COVID.
Hey, shout out. I know that 19%, they're all 2 in the 10 podcast listeners, but
yeah, exactly.
It's pretty shitty when the other, 81% ain't washing their hands when they're done.
Wash your hands, you nasty.
Wash your hands, you nasty motherfuckers.
Yeah. That's a great thought. And, hey, shout out to all the people taking the shit right now, listening, seriously. We might have to call this Deuce on the 10, or, we might have to section called, talk your shit, talk your shit. We'll go live with the cam, FaceTime.
FaceTime from the pot.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you, I already said, and hey, don't steal our idea that, we might have to throw toilet seats out here, because 2 on the toilet, we might have to.
That'd be, no, your ass go numb. You don't want that.
But no.
But yeah, shout out to all our bathroom warriors.
Yeah, exactly.
Handling their business while listening to the 2 on the 10 podcast.
And hopefully you listen to the whole, podcast at once, so you got to get up and your legs numb.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
What you got, Mitch?
You know what? My thought of the day is I'm a big alkaline water guy. Okay, so I do think alkaline water with the pH levels and balances, is very beneficial. Now I know people can argue what kind of alkaline water, and what gets that, alkaline water, the ionic charges or whatever else, the different variable options. There's debate on that. But I do think that, even myself, just the taste of the water, just the cleanness of the water, also just, again, truly the ideal. I'm a big alkaline water fan. I drink it a lot, but you have to be careful. And I know other people. I was posting on my Instagrams going, I'm, going and getting my water ionized or whatever right now, and 5 gallons. Like, you can go to certain places like water and ice stores, and I don't know in your areas, but out here, for example, you can get a 5-gallon jug of alkaline water for about $7, whatever. I mean, $6, $7, not bad, in my opinion. 5 gallons.
Gotcha.
And you want to at least be a pH level of, like, in my opinion, 9, 8.5, 9, 9.5. You don't want to go too high though, because then it changes it, the acidic levels. But here's the thing you want to be careful of. And again, take it with a grain of salt, or just keep it in mind. You want to, because, and it makes sense to me. There's different theories out there. And there was actually a study that was done. They took a piece of chicken, and they took 3 pieces of chicken. They put it in 3 different waters. They put it in a tap water, they put it in a mineral water, and they put it in an alkaline water, right? And they wanted to wait for it to dissolve. Okay, so in the tap water, I want to say it dissolved like halfway, the raw meat chicken. In the mineral water, it dissolved fully. In the alkaline water, it dissolved, it didn't dissolve whatsoever, just stayed raw meat.
Interesting.
So what they're trying to say is that you got to be careful, because alkaline water will change your stomach acidity acids. The acidity of your stomach acids that breaks down your food. So you definitely don't want to, have alkaline water at least a half hour before you eat, and even up to an hour and a half to 2 hours after you eat. Wow. So something to keep in mind. Alkaline water. I'm a big alkaline water fan, but you got to, use it correctly.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. And look up those studies if you want, just for, background. So.
Okay. I was just looking at my Tesla stock the other day, and it got me thinking. We're like 9 years away from the government mandate that we have to go away from combustible engines to fully electric.
Is that government or California?
That's California.
No, check it out, bro. That's the whole United States going from.
I thought it was California.
No, check it out. Check it out, man.
What?
Because I'm saying this is not, to me, I've only seen a few charging stations around. I went down to Arizona Mills. I saw a bunch of them. It was the first time I saw maybe 20 charging stations at one time. And
Scottsdale Fashion has them.
Scottsdale Fashion has a
Oh
bunch
yeah,
of them?
definitely.
Yeah. So to me is they're gonna have to do better. If that's where we're going, is they're gonna have to do better. They're gonna have to. I mean, we don't have the infrastructure right now built for this thing right now.
Really got the right line.
If they need charging stations, the company I work for, ACP, we sell them now. So shout out to ACP. Get your charging stations for your vehicles.
Do you really?
Yeah, actually, we do.
What do they run?
They're somewhere in the $10,000 to $20,000 range, I believe.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come down on that one.
Yeah, I'm not for sure. Don't quote me on that price, but call your local ACP representative. They can give you a price.
Tell Nepper I need 5 of those.
Shout out to Brad Nepper.
But they're supposed to be doing this because we want to curb climate change and stuff like that. Which I have to say, I am a climate change. I believe in climate change. That's another story in itself. But I do. But I don't think this is one of the ways to go about it. For the simple fact is, yeah, we're going to get rid of combustible engines, but then
by the way, shout out to Al Gore.
these cars run off lithium batteries, and they don't last forever. So they're going to be going into landfills, and they don't break down. So now we're trying to eliminate one problem, but we're creating another.
And how do you think they're creating all that energy for the electric car to be plugged in?
Well,
through gas,
coal,
yeah,
and also
nuclear.
People dying to mine these things. I mean, remember when people had problems with blood diamonds and all that stuff?
Right.
I mean, what
The
about
lithium mining? Yeah,
lithium
it's
mining.
crazy. If you ever see the videos online,
look that shit up?
they're not even supposed to have people in there, and there's like thousands and thousands of people just digging this stuff out.
Yeah,
and little children even, you know, and they're pulling them out like while the mines are collapsing.
Yeah, that's crazy. So my thing is, before you force, society to go one direction, let's think about it.
Hey, One Direction, wasn't that your favorite boy band, Nick?
No, that was New Kids on the Block.
Let's think about this as a whole before we create another problem. But hey, it's a great show. Number
amazing.
6 in the bag. Just want to thank everybody. Tune in every Monday. Every Monday, we're going to come to you every Monday. Hey, I'm Paul.
I'm Mitch.
Greedy Nick.
Greedy.
We'll see you next week, baby.
Appreciate you.
You bitch you.